He's back. JT Toppin announces he will return to Texas Tech for his second year out in the 806. The Big 12 Player of the Year isn't done playing in the scarlet and black. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. And damn it, spam that like button if you are happy to have JT Toppin back in the 806. There's some NBA draft, murmurs and everything like that. We get it. But hey, JT Toppin is back in the scarlet and black, and that is huge for the Red Raiders. I mean, it's not every day that you get the reigning Big 12 Player of the Year back on your roster, and that's exactly what Texas Tech has done. And, not to mention, they have this guy named Christian Anderson as well. That's a pretty damn good foundation for year number 3 of Grant McCasland. So if you're excited about JT Toppin announcing that he will be returning to the 806, all I'm going to ask you to do is simply like the video. Okay, there's going to be a lot of thoughts by me in this one, and we'll talk about what this means for Texas Tech in the portal. We'll discuss what this means for Texas Tech just next year in terms of projecting. But first and foremost, I want to talk what this means for Grant McCasland and crew, right? First and foremost, shout out to JT. You got a bag, young man. Do we know the exact number? No, and that's fine. But you got your bag, and you absolutely deserve it after the historic year that he had out in the 806, helping Texas Tech only to their third Elite Eight in program history. You think about this from a Grant McCasland perspective, though. Let's be real about this. How many guys like JT Toppin are in the portal? Real talk, like how many are there? My answer would probably be 0. Okay, that's just not bias. That is just looking at this from what he has done at the collegiate ranks, right? And what he has done for the team that he is returning to. Okay, there's nobody like him in the portal. He is one of the most dominant players in college basketball, and you retain him as well as your star freshman guard who's now going into his sophomore season in Christian Anderson, and you form one of the most formidable duos, not only in the Big 12, but in the country. Because again, JT Toppin will get preseason All-American honors type stuff for the Red Raiders. Christian Anderson, he won't get quite that, but he's going to be one of the most, highly decorated and highly looked at sophomores going into his sophomore campaign. But you think about it from the pick and roll perspective, what Texas Tech wants to do with Grant McCasland retaining JT Toppin is literally maybe the biggest thing that Grant McCasland has done in terms of roster building in his time at Texas Tech. Obviously, landing JT Toppin was pretty big, but it's even harder to retain players now in this era of the portal. So you look at it from that perspective and you think to yourself, okay, now you have JT Toppin and Christian Anderson locked in for next year, right? Now you can go out if you're Texas Tech and really pinpoint what you want in the portal, whether it's shooters, whether it's another big. You also have other guys that you can retain on your roster as well, but you have the core building blocks and core duo to go out and be at the upper echelon of the Big 12 Conference. And it's one of those deals where if JT wasn't coming off the year that he did, we probably wouldn't be talking like this. But go look at what he did in the NCAA tournament. He was one of the best bigs in the entire tournament, not to mention him being one of the best bigs in the Big 12 and just the country in general. We're talking about a guy that, in my estimation, got snubbed from first-team All-American honors. He did get, second team, and that's fine, but I feel like he got snubbed, right? And you look at the landscape of the Big 12, there's some teams going out there and doing some damn things, right? Kansas is trying to throw some money around. You've got Houston, who just played in the national title game. BYU is spending bag after bag after bag, right? Jacob Smith would be proud, right? But now you look at Texas Tech, and they retain the best player in the Big 12 alongside arguably the best young guard in the Big 12, okay? This is monumental for Texas Tech, because when you look at this from the perspective of everyone else in the conference, you already know going into the game, you probably don't have the best player. Not to mention, you probably don't have the best coach outside of maybe 1 or 2 in the conference, right? So Texas Tech went out. They identified that, listen, getting guys in the portal is critical. There's no doubting that. But retaining some of this top-level talent that was on your team last year with eligibility was critical. And sure, D5, he went to the NBA draft, entered the portal. It happens. But landing JT Toppin and getting him back on campus is a game changer for Texas Tech in 2025, 2026. Shout out to you getting your bag, young man. But when you look at everything from the other perspective, right, like expectations now for Texas Tech, because Grant McCasland and crew have given you and me absolutely zero reason to think that they won't hit in the portal in terms of their targets at a high level, right? Outside of Devin Cambridge, who's the portal miss for the Red Raiders in the first 2 years of the Grant McCasland era out in the 806? I truly can't think of one. They've hit on damn near every prospect that they've targeted. Now, is that going to continue? I'd say no, but it's going to help you quite a damn bit surrounding those guys from the portal around JT Toppin, okay? A guy that can single-handedly take the game over with his left hand alone. A guy that is developing his outside shot and will continue to do so next year. And I also don't think it's going to be talked about enough in terms of the continuality in terms of him being in this system in year number 2. He's going to get better. That's the big thing, right? Will his draft stock increase? I don't know, and neither does anybody else. But I can tell you this, he's going to be one of the most dominant bigs in all of college basketball. And anybody that tells you differently simply does not know ball to any kind of capacity. I mean, this is a monumental type announcement for the Red Raiders going into a season where you feel like the past season you left some on the table, right? And some people are going to be critical of JT for not making the front end of that 1-1. Same for D5. It is what it is. You go in, though, you'd be absolutely ridiculous not to want to have JT Toppin on your team in 2025, 2026. And it looks like the Red Raiders will have just that. It is a big-time day for Texas Tech when it comes down to it. As JT Toppin announces that he will return to the 806, buddy, I didn't think this was going to happen. I'll just be flat out honest with you. I just didn't think this was going to happen. And now you go into next year in year 3 of Grant McCasland, you're going to have expectations. I mean, I've seen Texas Tech as high as number 6 in some way too early top 25. Do I think that that's where they'll end up? Potentially, because I think Grant McCasland and crew will land some stars in the portal. And when I say stars, I mean guys that are going to fit into their roles. You don't always need those top 1 or 2 guys, right? You need guys that are going to fit their role and play into it every single night. And that's what Grant McCasland and crew have evaluated and scouted at a very high level. And now you can do so knowing you have 2 absolute bona fide stars in the Big 12, arguably the biggest star in the Big 12 in JT Toppin. And then you pair him in the pick and roll with Christian Anderson. I mean, it is going to be absolute cinema for Texas Tech out in the 806 this next season. Unreal that JT Toppin is returning. If you're excited about JT Toppin returning to the 806, I'm going to ask you to do one thing and one thing only. Like the damn video. This is an historic day for Texas Tech men's basketball. I mean, my goodness, man. My goodness. This team is going to be a lot of fun. And now you have arguably the biggest star in terms of the Big 12 Conference returning. Look out, because things could get absolutely fun out in the 806 next year. All right, I'm RC Maxfield. If you want 100% free content from yours truly surrounding Texas Tech football, men's basketball, and much more, you know what to do. I mean, you've already liked the video because of how excited you are about JT Toppin. You might as well hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell to get instant notifications in terms of when we drop a video, and it's 100% free. You can't beat it. Again, I'm RC Maxfield. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And as always, stay safe and Reckham Tech.